What is going on out there, peeps? Man, we are so close. So close, it's not even funny. So, right now, what I'm seeing in these news articles is Iraq is setting themselves up to be a sovereign nation again. Yes, finally. But why is that a big deal, Pimpy? I'll tell you. See, in order for them to be a sovereign nation, they must have a internationally recognized currency. Yes, a currency that's recognized and traded on the Forex. So this is good. This is what we want to see happening. Let's get into some of the articles. But before I do, as usual, look, you guys, I have a Facebook group called Pimpy's Investment Chat. It's the same as a YouTube channel. We do talk about the dinar in here, just Sarah, Nisera, gold, silver, cryptocurrencies. There's a link in the description. It is free to join. So come on over and join us, as well as the other one that seems to be growing really fast, which is the hidden things in front of your eyes. This is another group. If you want to talk about conspiracy types of things, this Sarah, just Sarah as well. It is politically driven and it is touching on today's current events. There is a YouTube channel that goes with this as well. But let's get into the news. All right, Rashid Bank pays the salaries for 51 departments. This is good. Finally, we know that was one of their issues. We're struggling to pay people. So it looks like they're starting to get the payments out. So where we at? The electronic payment unit paid the salaries of 51 departments in Baghdad and the provinces, in addition to many departments that received their salaries manually. Yes, good deal. He added that the bank staff, despite the conditions of the embargo, are working hard until the late hours of the night to ensure the salaries are paid without delay. Okay, good. So that's a good thing. We want to see that happening. Let's get on to the good stuff. Ooh, every time I see dinar, you always hope it's something good. Iraqi finance excludes approval for the 2020 budget and confirms the trend of external borrowing. Well, personally, again, I said this before, I don't want them to borrow externally. I really don't. What I want them to do is change the rate within country, strengthen their dollar, and then borrow internally. That's what I want to see happen. We'll see. Iraq finance minister Alawi ruled out approving the budget for 2020, confirming the trend towards external borrowing. Well, we don't want that trend. His ministry is working on preparing for the budget for the year 2021. We are working on borrowing from the World Bank to address the financial crisis. Well, we already know the World Bank already, so we're not letting you borrow any more money until you stabilize your country. Okay, we really don't want them to get back into this vicious cycle. We just want them to borrow internally. So we'll see. So the finance minister is pointing out that the need for Iraq is 7.5 trillion dinars for operating expenses. Why change the rate and you won't need so much? Good Lord. The House of Representatives had finished during its session last Wednesday the first reading of the draft law. So we'll see what happens. I'm just hoping that they just change the rate. Okay, that's what we're waiting for. So Al-Qadimi, the country is going through a great financial crisis and the corona, and we have plans to overcome it. Good. Get rid of the Rona. We don't want it there. So let's hear the plans. Okay, so here we go. The news got the article, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. We blessed the new ministry with the parliament's vote on them. And today, after completing the cabinet, we start with practical steps as a team to overcome the challenges that the country is going through. The country is going through great crisis and challenges in the financial aspect due to the Rona and the collapse of the oil prices. And we have put plans in place to overcome them. And this requires cooperation by everyone with the government to put the country on the right path. The Prime Minister added, the poor administrative system has hindered many projects, and we are working hard to reform them. So now that Al-Qadimi's in there, I said it before, whoosh, he's crack-a-lacking the whip. They're getting things done. Okay, the first cabinet session after the cab was completed. So the first cabinet session took place. What happened? Prime Minister Al-Qadimi stressed the importance of working to overcome the challenges the country is going through in his first cabinet session after completing it. Okay, that's pretty much the same as the other article. So we know here's all the things they need to deal with. It's the same as what was just above. So Sadr with his Illuminati eye right here. I'm just kidding. So Sadr is saying, hey, look, you know what? This is an article I actually agree with Sadr, believe it or not. So look at the coalition backed by Sadr movement leader, Sadr, non-negotiable matters during the Iraq-American dialogue scheduled for this week coming up waiving the existence of non-Iraqi agendas that control some away from the higher interests of the homeland. So I'm going to agree with this, okay? So the Iraqi negotiating delegation should inform the people about the issues of negotiations and determine national constants that cannot be relinquished, okay? One of the most important national principles is the restoration of complete Iraqi sovereignty and the destruction of the mortgage of the Iraqi sovereignty decisions from dependency in the regional conflicts, recalling the demonstration of the means that the Iraqi people achieved in all of its directions through the innovation of Sadr, which I support most of the forces and masses of political activities. So, okay, basically what he's saying is, look, we need to work on our own sovereignty. I agree 100%. When he says they need to destroy the mortgage of the Iraq sovereignty, basically that's what's been happening, is people are profiting off the destruction of the sovereignty of Iraq. That needs to stop. That's where all the corruption was. That's what they need to do away with. Okay, so Sadr goes on to say the points that were laid down by Sadr that was thrown in the demonstration should be the basis in setting the national constants, okay, and not the personal jurisprudence of the members of the negotiating delegation of non-Iraqi agenda that controls some away from the interests supreme of the homeland. Okay, yeah, we get that. In other words, what he's saying is this: when you guys are doing your negotiation, make sure everything you negotiate benefits the people of Iraq and not benefits the other people who use their country to profit off of. And I agree 100%. All right, look, he's talking about having their own sovereignty. I'm agreeing with Sadr on this one. Let's make it happen. We definitely want that to happen. So there's two articles, pretty much the same thing. That's the President Saleh and Kademi affirmed that they use all government's capabilities to confront corruption and improve services. Yes, that's one of the UN's biggest pet peeves is you guys need to do something about your dang corruption. So the Prime Minister's office, which was received by Euphrates News, stated that Saleh congratulated Al-Kadhimi on the completion of his ministry cabinet to implement his government programs that was voted on by Parliament and exerts utmost efforts to provide services to citizens. Yes, we know that. Let's talk about the areas that they need to go over. Is that the Prime Minister, the latest developments on internal level, the economic and security conditions, and the steps to be taken in light of the challenges facing the country due to the Rona and the deterioration of the world oil prices. That's not the case. Oil's been going up. As a matter of fact, they projected oil prices to be around $40 by July. It's above that, okay? So the statement pointed out that it was stressed that the government will employ all of its capabilities in order to improve the reality services to citizens and confront corruption and disclose, Makman, okay, in order to achieve the aspirations of the citizens and achieving the desired reform of all aspects of the state. I agree with it. We support it. Not only should you guys get rid of the corruption, it should be focusing on the needs of the people and not the needs of people outside of your country. Okay, so a quick article on Washington schedule its withdrawal of Iraq disagreements over the negotiating team. Okay, so we know next week the United States is coming in with all the heavy hitters to talk with Iraq about where they are, where they need to be, and their sovereignty. That's coming up. There's a little internal bickering going on between the people that it's going there to negotiate. Some people are wanting other members of their choice besides the ones that were chosen. It's the same back and forth as usual. Okay, so it's a long article as usual. I do leave the link so you can come and check this out for yourself, but I'm just summarizing it all in one quick statement. So the three main axes that will be discussed in the Iraqi-American meeting that will take place on the 11th of this month. We're in the 7th. So the 11th is coming up. It's about the end of this next week coming up. Man, we're going to learn a whole lot in this up and coming week. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, okay, the next parliament session, the next session will be devoted to passing the budget law and the federal court. So we know that's coming up. Committee member Ali said in a statement information that the Parliament will pass in the next 2 weeks all laws that relate to the economical aspect of crossing from the current financial crisis. The draft federal law 2020 will be the first laws that will pass soon. So already good. They got the laws lined up to be passed. This is just more good news after another, man. This is ever since Kademi has been voted in. It seems like every day it's like open up a grab bag of good news. I know we are getting impatient. I know a lot of people are, but for me, I'm really truly happy for the Iraqi people. When I read this, I feel excited for them. I want Iraq to be safe. I do want to go there and visit. Okay, so this really super long article, just let me go through it. The Prime Minister Kademi said in a brief meeting that is dedicated to discussing financial and economic reform. I love it. Just get straight to the point. Okay, so look at the Prime Minister advisor sets the price of barrel of oil in a 2020 budget at $30 to $35. Well, if that's what they're setting for and they get more, just think about it. It would be considered a surplus. Although they need to do something about that deficit, it's going to be higher than this. Let's be realistic. All right, look at this. Forget the borrowing. This is the one I want to get to. Basra crude is up $45 to $45. Now, see, a lot of people focus on the Brent crude oil, not me. I look at the Basra because Iraq's actually part of the Basra crude oil. That's their group, $45, and it's always higher than the Brent crude oil. Oil and Brent crude oil prices rose to $42 a barrel, while Basra crude recorded $45. So this is good, okay, you guys? Anyways, I just wanted to share this oil thing. I seen it down below, and I just wanted to share it to show you that, look, at oil prices are increasing. This is good. Iraq's cabinet is done. They've got their parliament there. They have their government there. They have their prime minister there. They have put together the salaries needed to pay people. Now they're getting ready to do some negotiations. And let's make this a sovereign country. This is where they are heading. Soon, Iraq will be a sovereign nation all over again. Cross your fingers, hope and pray. This is what we want. This is what we need to help the Iraqi dinar get back on the international scene, so that the rate change can take place. All right, you guys? I thought that would be exciting and share it with you. Please like if you haven't hit the like button because it helps out the channel. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. All right? I'll catch you later.